Channel Whoa, welcome back everybody. So I wanted to give my thoughts on this whole, Breonna Taylor, Kenneth Walker case. As you all know, Breonna Taylor was a young African-American girl who was in her own house, in bed past midnight when cops all of a sudden, barged in, knocked down the door, things transpired. Shots were fired and Breonna Taylor was killed, an innocent person. The whole investigation had nothing really to do with Breonna Taylor. She was not a criminal. She had no criminal record. None of that. Okay, she was killed by the cops in really a tragic situation, right? Under tragic circumstances. So, just the other day, Kenneth Walker, who was the boyfriend of Breonna Taylor, was interviewed by Gayle King, and he gave some very interesting information that I didn't really know. I had been following the case sort of a little bit, just taking in the prominent facts of the case, but I hadn't really delved too deep into it. I do know that the officers were, they were absolved of any crime except for one, because he fired a shot into the neighbor's wall or something like that, and so he was charged with like endangerment or something like that. Okay, so that's basically what I knew. All right, that she was not involved in the investigation. The subject of the investigation was her ex-boyfriend. Yada yada yada. That's sort of the extent of what I know. Okay, now I've looked a little deeper into it, and Kenneth Walker, who was her boyfriend, who was at home with Breonna Taylor, who sort of may have caused the shootout that killed Breonna Taylor in the first place. Okay, so here's what happened. Breonna Taylor and Kenneth Walker were at home in bed, okay, and it was past midnight. They were in bed watching a movie, and this is according to Kenneth Walker. They were at home watching a movie when they heard loud banging on their door. They didn't know who it was. They got up, put their clothes on, and Kenneth Walker says that he said, "Who is it?" and heard nothing. He never heard anybody say it's the police. He never heard anybody try to identify themselves. They just heard loud banging on the door, which scared them. Think about it. If it's midnight, past midnight, and you're at home in bed and you hear some loud ass knocking on the door like that, and nobody ever says it's the police or responds to any of your questions, who is it, and they don't respond to that, are you just gonna go, oh, it must be the cops? No. Or if you do, you're not sure, you might get your gun if you have one. Kenneth Walker had a gun, legally registered. This man does not have a criminal record, never, not involved in any crime, at least that anybody knows of. All right. So in his testimony, or not his testimony, but in the interview, he says that they were scared and they didn't know who it was. They assumed it was somebody trying to hurt them. Completely understandable. So they were there. They're approaching the door when all of a sudden the door is knocked down. Well, not knowing who the fuck it was, and I'm damn sure most of you guys would probably do the same thing. Had you a gun in your hand? He fires a shot, he says, more of a warning shot. He didn't know it was the cops yet. He said that he fired the shot thinking that whoever it was might get sort of scared away from it and stop doing whatever they were doing. So he fires the shot. Next thing you know, him and Breonna Taylor are under a hail of bullets. Okay, it's reported that one officer shot 6 bullets, another officer shot 16 bullets, and another one 9 bullets. All right. So now, the thing is that when you really look at it from both sides, it sort of makes sense. But in my perspective, the cops were more in the wrong. We can sort of establish that Breonna Taylor and Kenneth Walker acted in self-defense. They had no knowledge that it was the police. And even if they did, put yourself in their shoes. Even if the police come to your house and say, let's just say you heard knocking on, hard banging on your door. All right, boom, 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 and then somebody says it's the police. I mean, at that point, you gotta sort of take their word for it, right? But that sort of opens up the door for criminals who might want to rob you for something valuable you might have to use that tactic. All right, imagine, criminal down the street knows that you have some expensive ass jewelry, and so he decides, you know what, middle of the night, I'm gonna go over to homeboy's house, bang on the door, have my gun ready, and say I'm the police. Open up. What? And so what if you do? You're fucked at that point, aren't you? You're fucked. So therefore, I can see both sides, because yes, I 100% back Kenneth Walker's claim for self-defense. Yeah. Second, he only fired one shot, which tells me he did not know it was the cops. So whether the cops ever announced themselves or not, Kenneth Walker did not know it was the cops. He either didn't hear it, or they never announced themselves as cops. Second, why in the fuck would anybody fire a shot at people that they believe to be intruders? Why would Kenneth Walker, with a clean record, with no criminal evidence, nothing in the home that would tie him to any sort of crime, and therefore he's not telling us he's not afraid of being caught for something? Okay, because they did search the home, no criminal evidence, paraphernalia of any kind was found. So, in the shoes of Kenneth Walker, it makes 100% sense that he didn't know it was the cops. As soon as they burst down the door, fired one shot, quick reaction, oh my god, they got in, shot, quickly registers. Oh no, as a matter of fact, my bad. I was about to say that it quickly registers it's the cops, but no, that's not what happened. He shot, hail of gun, a hailstorm of bullets ensues. He still doesn't even know it's the cops. He still don't know. He calls 911, telling the dispatcher that somebody has broken in and shot his girlfriend. Who do you know that intentionally shoots at the cops, tries to get into some sort of a shootout with the cops, calls 911 on the damn cops, right? Nobody. Not only that, there were two other 911 calls by some of the neighbors, right? So a total of 3 911 calls. Not one of them described the circumstances as being officer involved. Nobody mentions the police, yet they're asking for the police, all right? That tells me that at the very least, Kenneth Walker and Breonna Taylor didn't know that those were cops. All right, they had no idea. So their actions are 100% defensible. So now, this brings me to something that I've always wondered, and if any of you have information on this, I would love to know if you have the answer to this. Every time I see videos of officer-involved shootings when cops kill somebody, you ever notice how it's not just one cop who fires a shot that kills a person? No, they all fucking discharge their guns. All of them. So my question is this: why are they doing that? If one officer sees something that is threatening, boom, he could shoot the person. Maybe the person will stop whatever they were doing that was threatening the police officer, or that'll put them down, but it won't kill them. Maybe it'll shoot them on the arm by accident, right? Because I know that cops are trained to shoot center mass, right? So what I'm saying is, one officer shoots, maybe they shoot them in the leg or something, and the suspect is down. But what always happens is, one officer shits their pants for whatever reason, because the suspect pulled out a phone and, oh my god, my life is in danger. I signed up to be a cop. I know that this job is dangerous, but you know what? I'm not gonna take a 0.00001% of a chance, and I'm just gonna shoot if it even possibly can be a gun. If I can't see that it's a phone and it might be a gun, I'm gonna fucking kill the person, right? So they do that. And then it seems to me that all the officers, that's sort of like a trigger, no pun intended, all right? Boom. Oh, let's shoot. Boom, 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 boom. No questions asked. Why is this other motherfucker shooting? Nah, let's just all shoot. Hence, you get the fucking the hailstorm of bullets that Kenneth Walker and Breonna Taylor had to endure. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why they do that. All right, it seems to me one of two things, or maybe both actually. Either they're doing it because they're going ahead and trusting the one cop, letting off a shot as our life is in danger. He must know that it's in danger, so automatic, believe him. Boom, 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 boom. Let's shoot. We're not gonna confirm. Let's just shoot. Okay, we're not gonna risk our lives. That, or to cover their ass. Okay, what do I mean by that? Let's just say that the one cop that feels threatened gets a shot off, kills a suspect. Done. And then it's found out that the suspect was really not a threat. Guess what's gonna happen? That one cop is gonna be charged. His credibility is gonna be questioned because, hey, how come none of the other cops felt threatened, right? So what it seems to me is that along the line somewhere, cops decided, you know what? Any of us lets out a shot, we'll all shoot. That way, the responsibility is spread out among all of us. Not only that, if it's called into question, the legality of this homicide is called into question, it'll give us more credibility. Oh, he felt threatened, but they also all felt threatened. The whole police squad, the cops, right there, they all must have felt threatened because they all let off a shot. So they must have. So we're gonna believe more eyes than just one. We're gonna believe more. We're gonna believe the testimony of all these cops who also let off a shot because they must have felt threatened versus just one, right? So it's sort of a sense of covering their own ass. I don't know. That's something that I feel like is probably true, but I don't know. Okay, I would love to know if you have the answer to it, and if it's factual. Okay. So, anyways, what else? Right. So Kenneth Walker lets off the shot. Calls the cops. He doesn't know. Calls 911. He doesn't know that they're the cops. He finds out later that they're the cops. All right. He finds out after he has to walk out because he says he hears something that tells him, they might be the cops. But actually, he thinks it's the cops there to help him. All right. He thinks at that point that the intruders or whoever shot Breonna Taylor left, and now the 911 has called the cops. So he goes out there and he's met with gun. Right. He's met at gunpoint. So he's arrested for letting off a shot. And here's another thing that's really questionable. He let off a shot, but he doesn't even know if he hit an officer because one officer was shot in the leg. But guess what? Nobody knows who shot that officer. It makes sense that it was Kenneth Walker, right? With 100% making sense, right? That he did it in self-defense. Sure. But even there, it's really fishy because for some weird reason, they haven't produced the slug. They haven't produced a slug that they can easily tie to Kenneth Walker's gun. Adding that or connecting the dots, the officer getting shot with the other officer getting charged for endangerment because apparently other officers were not even at the fucking doorway and they shot. They were like in the driveway or something. They were like far away and they shot. This tells me that these motherfucking cops heard shots, heard their buddies let off some shots and decided, you know what, I'm gonna let off some shots too. All right. And so they let off the shots. They fired towards the apartment. That's fucking endangerment. That's fucking reckless. All right. So with all this said, taking into account these circumstances, it seems to me that the fact that they were not indicted seems fair. Here's why. Because the cops were just following their typical sort of protocol. All right, they were doing a no knock. Was serving a no knock warrant, or a sort of I think it was like they can choose either knock or no knock, but supposedly they decided to knock. Right, so they were doing that. All right, they were just following their typical protocol for this. All right, they hear a shot. it makes sense that they're gonna fire back. It makes sense. So it's almost like they were both sort of right. Kenneth Walker was in the right for self-defense. The cops were in the right for self-defense. But the motherfucking cops that were not at the doorway, yeah, that is fucking endangerment. That is endangerment because they're fucking firing. They don't even know what the fuck is going on. Okay? So that makes sense to me. But then here's the other fucking thing. The other thing is that apparently, according to Walker's lawyer, that the warrant was obtained dishonestly. That they lied to obtain that warrant. That they were saying that Breonna Walker was receiving packages with contraband or whatever, right? With illegal substances. And apparently that was a lie. Okay? Now, as I've said in previous videos, I understand that all this information is hard to sort. All right, I understand there's a lot of misinformation out there. Nobody knows 100% the truth. Nobody does, and if anybody does, they're not even 100% sure that they know 100% of the truth. Okay, it's hard to know. But with that information, assuming it's true, assuming that somebody really lied to get the warrant, then in that case, I believe all the cops who knew that the warrant was obtained illegally by committing perjury should all be fucking charged with Breonna Taylor's murder. Okay? Because somebody was killed during the commission of a crime. What crime? Invading somebody's home under false pretenses, obtaining an illegal warrant. Okay? This was an illegal warrant. Was it obtained? If it was obtained by lying. Alright? That's what happens. You go with one of your buddies to rob a liquor store, armed. Your buddy, the clerk shoots your buddy. Guess what? You're charged for murder. That's how it works, right? Somebody was killed during the commission of a crime that you were committing. You will be charged with their murder. These cops, if they were in on illegally obtaining a warrant by lying to a judge, these motherfuckers are guilty. They should be guilty. They should be charged at the least with murder. All right? Because they fucking lied. Okay? If any of for the cops that did not know and they were just following orders, I don't believe should be charged with a crime. Okay? Even if it's the person whose gun killed Breonna Taylor, I don't believe it. All right? I don't believe that they should be charged with murder. All right? It was not their fault. They were following the orders of their bosses and so on. And so their boss should be the one charged. Does that make sense? Okay? And so so some people question why are they're doing protests over this whole Breonna killing if they were just why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because even if these no-knock warrants are if they do these no-knock warrants, well, then they're bad policy, right? People are saying, you know what? Maybe we should stop doing these because that's what can happen. All right. So yeah, that's my take. It's a really messed up situation. I feel like both sides are sort of in the right. But if anybody's in the wrong, it's definitely on the side of the cops. 100%. All right. Again, like I said, maybe not every individual cop, but it does fall on their side. All right. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you have the answer to the question that I was asking, why the fuck, when there's a shot let off, all the other fucking cops go ahead and let off the shot? Like, why? What's the reasoning behind it? Let me know. All right. Down in the comments. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Channel will subscribe.